The final day of the Kansas City Chiefs rookie minicamp is in the books, and this Monday, it was very noteworthy as we got some key major injury updates from Isaiah Pacheco and also who the new left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs will be going into training camp and who their wide receiver number one may be going to into the season. Now, before we do get into all of that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, as I'm going to keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chief related that you do not want to miss out on. And without further ado, let's have some fun. Today is a new day of the week and the final day of the rookie minicamp for the Kansas City Chiefs. And we're going to discuss and zone in a little more on Rasheed Rice because he ended it off with a bang. And also, as if we don't get enough Kansas City Chiefs news, today was jam-packed with all of it and strictly on the offensive side of the ball. And right now, we're going to focus on that grown man, Isaiah Pacheco, who had a crazy good rookie year, but none of us knew that throughout this year, he was battling injury. Reports come out now and that Coach Reid has confirmed that Isaiah Pacheco had a torn labrum and a broken hand and played majority of the whole year. Actually, every snap, he was always counted for and he was always there. And he lived up to his role, and that was him being a grown man. And hey, when you label yourself something like that, you got to live up to that hype, and he has done it throughout the whole season. Now, though, we got to look, how's that going to impact Isaiah Pacheco in a training camp and going into 2023? Coach Reid did touch on a little bit, saying that he is getting a little off-season work and for getting ready for phase 2, but he's not going like full on and full in depth on it. He is still recovering, getting that physical therapy and all you need to be prepared and be ready for the 2023 season. But this is why I mentioned throughout this whole offseason why the running back position is so crucial. Now, yes, I didn't anticipate an Isaiah Pacheco injury, but you have to anticipate injuries no matter who it is or what group it is. And right now, the Kansas City Chiefs running back group is kind of slim. Thankfully, they were able to resign Jerick McKinnon. But at the end of the day, we love Jerick McKinnon, but he is not an every down back to where if Isaiah Pacheco is gone, you can depend on him throughout a whole game. He is a fun, elusive receiver and one of Mahomes' most dependable options. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But can you depend on giving Jerick McKinnon 15 carries a game? I don't know about that. That's why the Kansas City Chiefs need to add more running back bodies on this roster. And also, he's not Chiefs Kingdom's fan favorite, but at the end of the day, with Isaiah Pacheco being injured, that leaves that door wide open for CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, to still be on this team. Not saying Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the best option, but he's the most feasible one. And also, too, he knows this scheme. He knows this team. And also, when he was dependent on last year, early in the year, before he got injured, he knew how to find the end zone. He was one of Mahomes' red zone targets. I'm not saying you're going to put CEH out there and he's going to produce. He's going to show us something we've never seen before. No, but take with what is expected. We don't know if Isaiah Pacheco is going to be there week 1. It's a long offseason. I'm still going to anticipate him being there until told otherwise. But at the end of the day, you need bodies. And CEH is a valuable running back number 3. I think Chiefs Kingdom needs to take that first-round draft pick off of his label. It's going to be there, but you need to view what Clyde Edwards-Helaire is. And if you do that, you may be happy with the production he sees going forward. But also, this is why the Kansas City Chiefs and also why Chiefs Kingdom has a huge hype train already for a guy like Deneric Prince, who has been stellar in his rookie minicamp. Nonetheless, what is to be expected? As I mentioned, going into this rookie training camp and into training camp and preseason, Deneric Prince is going to have the same type of hype train that Justin Ross has. And Chiefs Kingdom is going to want him to be RB number 2. And fair. I give it. I understand. And I love it because he said he has that same chip on his shoulder because going undrafted, he wants to prove all 32 teams wrong. And hey, can't blame him. Love that type of energy. It's kind of like that grown man mentality that Isaiah Pacheco goes with. And honestly, that's the similarities that everyone has is Isaiah Pacheco and Deneric Prince. They both are very fast. They both are very tough. And they both never avoid contact and they will run through you. So I'm excited to see what Deneric Prince brings. But another sneaky name to keep your eyes out for in this running back room, who was formerly a wide receiver last year, but then formerly a running back in college. But Jerrion Ealy, he had a stellar mini camp with the Kansas City Chiefs this past few days. And honestly, now he transitioned back to the running back room, and that may be where he can find himself on this 53-man roster. There's bodies there, but at the end of the day, there's no solidified depth lineup going forward. And a guy like Jerrion Ealy, who displayed his speed. Pete Sweeney mentioned that he was definitely the fastest guy at camp, and he just looked more improved than last year too. That's exciting to hear. And one thing that can keep Jerrion Ealy on this team or get him on that 53-man roster, he's going to have a battle with Nico Remihijo, the guy who I mentioned could be the Kansas City Chiefs special teams returner. Ealy has that same type of capability as well. Those are going to be two names that you're going to watch on punt returns and kickoff returns and be like, okay, we're going to have an interesting battle this preseason. But I'm excited to see Ealy because he was another one where a practice squad guy, but had all this potential. Now, it's time to see that growth and potential take another step during training camp and fight to be on this roster too. And as I mentioned with CEH, just because he knows this team, just because he can be productive, doesn't mean anything is solidified. So you better be sure the boys like Deneric Prince and Jerrion Ealy are going to try for that running back 3 spot. And if they prove themselves more than what CEH does this training camp, CEH can be on a different team as well. Best believe Coach Reed and Brett Veach are going to put the best 53-man together. That's what they always do. But at the end of the day, the main concern is Isaiah Pacheco. Again, we don't know what he's going to be like week 1. But you do need that running back depth because you don't want to go in and be like, okay, now our RB1 is Jerick McKinnon. And do you feel so confident with that? I don't know because Jerick McKinnon has injury prone as well. I'm confident with Jerick McKinnon being that good receiving back and has a set snap count. But when you increase it, that's where I get a little worrisome. It's definitely going to be a position to keep your eyes on. This running game is going to be interesting. It always is with the Kansas City Chiefs and Coach Andy Reid. Now, Coach Reid had some more noteworthy news that Chiefs Kingdom may not be too fond of as well. And he announced today that Donovan Smith will come into training camp as the starting left tackle and Jawan Taylor will come in as the starting right tackle. Honestly, to me, that's no surprise whatsoever. Now, again, if you would have asked me when the Kansas City Chiefs brought in Jawan Taylor and the reports were that Jawan Taylor was going to transition, then yeah, I can completely understand it. But now that the Kansas City Chiefs brought in a veteran left tackle in Donovan Smith, who has done that for all of his career in the NFL, it only makes sense. Honestly, I don't get where the Chiefs Kingdom is getting kind of too feisty, too upset about it, because at the end of the day, you got two guys who are in their proven positions and have excelled at this point of their career. Donovan Smith also, yes, he struggled last year, but also he had a hyperextended elbow week 1 against the Cowboys, and I really believe that affected his whole season. Now, he has had issues and penalties and things like that, but if you look back just to 2021 and like for a 3-year stretch, he was elite. He was better than Orlando Brown Jr. Now, it just depends. What Donovan Smith are you going to get? If he's healthy, ready to go, I think that is a solid acquisition and one that Brett Veach can hit out of the park. Brett Veach and these 1-year deals, 1-year prove-it deals, seem to always work because these guys come in with a chip on their shoulder and want to get a Lombardi. And then you just have Jawan Taylor at the right tackle position where he has excelled his whole career with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also, I see Chiefs Kingdom poking at that, man, so we really just signed Jawan Taylor to that high, hefty price to be a right tackle? That's a waste of money. I don't know where you guys are getting this or what you guys are focusing on. I think the Kansas City Chiefs jumped the market when a lot of people are thinking the Kansas City Chiefs created the market because left tackle and right tackle, those price points are just going to continue to increase. And also, I think it's very, very smart because the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously, they couldn't get their left tackle that they wanted, either in the draft or either in this free agency. There's next offseason too. If they can get their guy in the draft, that means you got him at a cheaper price and you already got your right tackle locked down. But to focus on Jawan Taylor's price point, he is the second paid highest offensive right tackle in the league. And also, it's only like $2.5, $3 million cheaper than left tackle. That's the same with Lane Johnson too. So nothing is earth-shattering, tilting, anything like that. So I don't know where Chiefs Kingdom's really getting their numbers at as well. And also, it's off-season. So if you're going to pay a guy, it's going to be during the free agency period because you have to get your guy. And best believe, Brett Veach is going to put the best line in front of Patrick Mahomes. That way he doesn't get hit. And then the third point is, did you really think with bringing Donovan Smith in and then bringing Jawan Taylor in that you're just going to have them be at their interchangeable positions that they never played and then just watch them struggle for a few weeks and then be like, okay, let's switch it up. Let's put them where they belong. No, put them where they belong and what they are used to playing. Don't play around with it and don't mess it up whatsoever. I completely agree with what Coach Reid is doing moving forward. And at the end of the day, I think it is the right move. And I don't think this is also a testament to what Jawan Taylor has been doing this offseason. Because we have seen Jawan Taylor practicing, looking very nimble, looking like an athletic freak, like we don't normally see any offensive lineman look like. That's not to say that it was in a negative light and Coach Reid was like, I don't know if he can be a left tackle, or the same with Brett Veach. No. They haven't probably even seen him in person to train either. So just to make that assumption and be like, yeah, he's not a left tackle, just off a tape that you've seen in the gym, that's far from the case. It is, we want proven, experienced guys at left tackle and the right tackle position because that's the position that has been the main hole on this Kansas City Chiefs O-line, whether you had Andrew Wiley, Lucas Niang, or Orlando Brown Jr. as well. There has been inconsistency there, and they want to get that shored up, and they're not going to play around with it with being interchangeable. They're going to have a right tackle play a right tackle and a left tackle play a left tackle. And then it also raised some more eyebrows then, why did you draft Wanya Morris? Because everyone just assumes, which is a key word, assumes Wanya Morris was going to come in and be the right tackle for the future for the Kansas City Chiefs. But now that Jawan Taylor's there, that's what that contract's going to go through for the next 4 years. So what's he doing? You also got to remember, or even look more in depth to it, Wanya Morris played the majority of his college career at the left tackle position. He is very raw. He's got now a whole year to learn this playbook and learn his technique and craft and perfect maybe being a left tackle. That way, maybe he is your future left tackle and you can plug and fill him next year once Donovan Smith moves on, or if Donovan Smith does great, that gives you questions you need answers to, but I would love that as well. You either bring Donovan Smith forward, or you just get Wanya Morris up and he has been caught to speed. Those are good problems to deal with. But just because we assume that Wanya Morris was selected in the third round and he was supposed to be at the right tackle, that's a fan's assumption. We do not know what's going inside that war room in the organization as well. But it makes sense that if Wanya Morris is going to be a lineman in this league, it could be left tackle because that's where he played the majority of his ball. You just got to put 2 and 2 together, and it can make 4. Now, let's touch on another topic that might be a little touchy for the Kansas City Chiefs, specifically Chiefs Kingdom. But nowadays, what topic isn't touchy for Chiefs Kingdom? It seems like y'all get so upset at everything. But yesterday reports came out, which we've been knowing this, but they throw it out again to refresh our memory for whatever it may be, that the Chiefs organization views that Kadarius Toney will have a higher amount of snap increase and be the Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver number 1. Again, this should come no surprise to anyone, specifically Chiefs Kingdom. Now, I understand Chiefs Kingdom's main concern is Kadarius Toney can't stay healthy. And the main question I always throw back is, what if he does? Like, the talent is there. The ability is definitely there. If Kadarius Toney can somehow, some way be healthy through a whole 16 games or 17 games now, you can't tell me he would not put up wide receiver number 1 numbers. That would just be absurd. Definitely with Patrick Mahomes. And also, now he's going to have a full offseason under his belt. And he's going to have a full offseason with the training staff as well. And we know that the Kansas City Chiefs training staff is one of the best. We rarely ever, and I need to knock on wood or something, let's just do this wall, that they never really have any huge major injuries. Again, cross fingers that it doesn't happen, but they keep these guys healthy and ready to go, and they work to what is best for the players. So I have high hopes for Kadarius Toney next year because the potential is definitely through the roof. And also, how do you label wide receiver number one? Like, of course, I don't think he's going to be a Justin Jefferson by any stretch of the imagination. But can he get wide receiver number one snaps and make plays in this offense? Yes. We've seen last year, and I think it's going to be a continuation onto this year. Sky Moore is going to have his days. Kadarius Toney is going to have his days. MVS is going to have his days. Rasheed Rice may even pop up for a couple games his rookie year. And then Travis Kelce, that's your wide receiver number one. And now I know Chiefs Kingdom will be a concern. Well, how long does Travis Kelce got at the top? Until he proves he's not there no more. We got to stop questioning him as well. He has 7, 8, 1,000 yard seasons in a row. He is always going to be consistent because he has a gameplay like no other, and he keeps his body in the best shape possible. I think Kadarius Toney can be a real threat in this league. So we got to stop focusing on, will Rasheed Rice be wide receiver number one rookie year? Let's get that out of our mouth real quick. That's not going to happen. We see how rookies transition into this offense, and we see that Coach Reid slowly moves them forward. So Rasheed Rice, he will be a threat in this league. He may be a wide receiver number one for this team in the future, but this year, that's not going to be the case. And also, I know Chiefs Kingdom's still holding out hope for a DeAndre Hopkins trade for a future draft picks. Knock that off as well. That may hype up towards the trade deadline, but right now, the Kansas City Chiefs, Coach Reid and Brett Veach like the wide receiver room that's in front of them. Chiefs Kingdom, you gotta live with that because at the end of the day, there's talent across the board in that room. There's actually tremendous depth in the wide receiver room. There's really good playmakers. Now, are they huge names? No. But at the end of the day, with Patrick Mahomes, they can definitely make plays in the NFL. Now let's close this video off with some mini camp updates. I already gave you a little bit about Jerrion Ealy. Let's talk on one of my favorite guys in the draft. Actually, my favorite Kansas City draft pick in Rasheed Rice, who had a very, very solid mini camp. And today, he looked really, really impressive. He had a really good toe-tapping touchdown, and also as well, he showed his size. He displayed his size throughout the day. And also, Pete Sweeney even mentioned, and what I saw too was, even in college, and he transitioned it today, was he has that hip movement like Travis Kelce. We heard Rasheed Rice is not the fastest guy, and people start to question his separation. But we see with Travis Kelce in the NFL as well. If you got that nice little hip wiggle, you know how to get away from a guy. And it's cool to see that someone like Rasheed Rice, his game is, I'm not going to say similar to Travis Kelce, but to see that he has that in his arsenal to where I can make you miss with my hips. I know my speed won't get you, but my hips will, and then I'll get my separation. That was very, very cool to see. Now, I know a lot of Chiefs Kingdom will be like, it's against all these practice squad rookies. It's going to look good. At the end of the day, Rasheed Rice is a rookie as well. He hasn't been in this league at all, so these are all new guys battling for spots, and I think that's what makes it more enticing and intriguing. And I think more competitive, if anything, is these guys are putting everything on the line. So don't undermine them, because at the end of the day, this might be the best football you will see is rookies fighting for a spot, because this isn't just draft picks. This is undrafted players. This is players coming in on tryouts. They are giving it everything they got. So the fact that Rasheed Rice is one of his names to stand out is very, very promising. And I love that people are already seeing his skill set and how it can transition into the NFL. Coach Reid did mention as well, one thing Rasheed Rice needs to work on, and I think it's for any wide receiver coming into the Kansas City Chiefs, is the speed of the game. There was moments where Rasheed Rice was caught on a sideline trying to catch his breath. Rightfully so, really, because you're getting used to the Kansas City Chiefs lifestyle, and it is a fast-paced offense. And that's why it takes rookie wide receivers a little bit of time to transition, because the Kansas City Chiefs offense is non-stop. And if you're not on the right page, Coach Reid ain't going to have you on the field, and he won't have you on the field till it's ready. It's not to say anything's wrong with a guy like Sky Moore or Rasheed Rice. This offense just takes more time to develop. And Rasheed Rice, he's learning quickly that there is no stop in this offense. It is full gas, no brakes. You better keep moving forward. I'm excited to see what Rasheed Rice can do, specifically in training camp and preseason. When it comes to regular season time, I don't have that much high expectations just because we saw with Sky Moore last year. But at the end of the day, I do feel like Rasheed Rice could put up better numbers in his rookie year than Sky Moore. I don't know. I may be crazy. Chiefs Kingdom. Let's discuss it in the comments down below. Do you feel Rasheed Rice will have a bigger year than Sky Moore's rookie year? It's not saying a lot, but at the end of the day, this Coach Reid offense is very, very complicated and not easy to grasp. With that, I'm going to sign off. Please be sure you do subscribe to the channel. If you did like this video, please leave that big thumbs up. Y'all take care. Peace.